Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yes, hello and welcome to Adbond's Real Estate Insights Training session. And today we're going to be comparing cash flow to capital growth when you're structuring your real estate investment portfolio. Now, as wealth advisors, as persons that market and sell properties, land, real estate in general, when we have people come to us and say, I want to buy property, I want to buy land, there's an important question we always ask. What is your reason for investing? Why do you want to buy this property? What is your purpose for even considering real estate in the first place? And generally, there are two answers we always get: to generate income from my property, or so I can resell later. Now, that's not to say there are not other answers we get, like maybe for status, you want to give it to your children at later time for an inheritance, but it can generally be classified under these two reasons. They want to generate income or they want to resell later. So that tells us that investors generally have two main goals for investing. They have two main purposes for which they're investing: either a steady income, something they can get on a regular basis, or long-term value increase. That is, they're looking at buying now, and it's not now they're looking at the returns, but on later years at a later time. Now, understanding this helps you to align your goals to whatever strategy that you would like to choose. That's to say that as an investor, your strategy, I like to say this whenever I'm training, that your goal for investing differs from the other person, and so your strategy would also differ. Now, both I and my siblings have properties here at Adbond. The property I chose to buy is different from the ones they decided to go for. I'm someone that likes to do agriculture and see what one can get from it. There's someone that, for them, let it just be there, appreciate, and they will resell at a later time. That shows that even from the start, our goals are different. So the properties, the strategies we're going to be applying would obviously be different. So as an investor, your goal for investing is what will determine what strategy you would go for. Now, let's explain what we mean by cash flow properties and capital growth properties. Cash flow properties are those that generate regular income, from which you can generate regular income on a regular basis. So you can generate income from these properties on a regular basis. After you've deducted your tax, your maintenance, repairs, mortgages, what have you, you still have profit from that particular investment. That's what we mean by cash flow properties. Now, very good examples, we have rental apartments, hostels, shortlets, Airbnbs. Commercial properties generally, even the residential apartments that you live, is a cash flow property to the landlord because it generates income from it. So what we're trying to say is that with cash flow properties, you're talking about money today. You're not considering money tomorrow. You're looking at something I can put my money to, or I can invest in, and can start making profit or start generating income from it regularly, starting from today, starting from now. That is, people that go for cash flow properties are most times looking for financial freedom. They are looking for an opportunity where I can retire, I can resign, and I know that there's something coming in, either on a monthly basis or on an annual basis, that can settle me. So they are considering financial freedom. That's why they are going for cash flow properties. There are some advantages to owning cash flow properties. Number one is the regular income. You are sure that on a regular basis, your tenant is going to pay this particular amount, in this particular month. Next year again, I'm expecting this. Now, imagine you have 4 or 5 tenants. You're expecting something from them on a regular basis. Now, it's predictable such that even as tenants, we know that after 2 years, you're expecting your landlord to start making sounds as regarding rental increase, that your rent is going to go up. So imagine from the perspective of the landlord, you can calculate, after a period of 2-3 years, I'm increasing my rent again, except you are doing long-term lease. Even at that, to renew it, you are increasing the value the person will pay again. So cash flow properties have predictable financial return. There is a project we have here at Adbond that we call our bond homes. In the chart that we usually show to prospect investors, persons that are willing to buy, people that are willing to buy, there's a part we put lump sum rental income. The reason we can project the amount the person will be getting on an annual basis is because of how predictable rent is in Lagos, in Nigeria generally, in the real estate market in Nigeria. It's easy to predict rent. If you are renting a property and they're telling you it's 1 million naira now, in the next couple of years, what you'll probably be paying as rent for that property. Then it enables you holding your property even through market downturns. That is to say, although it doesn't really apply to the Nigerian real estate market, but there are times where the market could actually experience a downturn where property is not selling like it used to. It could be general, that is the economy as a whole. For example, during COVID, a lot of people did not know where the economy will fall after the entire thing. So property prices could probably fluctuate. During that period, because you know you are getting something from your property, you are not necessarily in a hurry to sell. That brings me to the fourth point. You are not in a hurry to sell. A lot of people that are always in a hurry, they see it as a fast cash flow. They want to quickly get their money back. I want to resell my property and get. It's because they do not have what they are getting from it. For people that you know on a steady basis, by the time I collect all of the rent I'm getting from my tenants together, I'm getting close to 10 million naira and above. And I'm telling you reality of some persons in Nigeria. They are not in a hurry to sell those properties. They know that over the period of 3-4 years, I would have been able to get something valuable, or within a few months, this tenant will pay my rent and then I'll get something back. So they are not in a hurry to sell. And so it reduces dependence on resale timing. But there are some challenges to owning cash flow properties. For example, the first one, managing tenants. In a property that your cash flow, your income is reliant, or you're relying on tenants paying, could be very dicey. Aside from managing them, there's a possibility the tenant will not pay as at when due. There are also instances where you might not have tenants to stay in the property as of when you opt. For example, there is someone that I know that for a period of 9 months, she could not get rent on her property, back and forth with the tenant. The tenant eventually moved that. But for peace sake, just let him go with the number of months he has left, the void period. 9 months, no rent for that property. So it starts counting again when a new tenant takes it. So that's also a challenge with cash flow properties. Then handling repairs. Whatever income you generate is not the final income. It's a gross income. You would have to take out maintenance, repairs, probably pay tax if you're a law-abiding citizen on the property and all of that. Then, like I mentioned, dealing with vacancies. Now, for poor farm output, when we are speaking on agricultural land that generates income, it's possible that it might not bring out the output you expect, meaning you will not be able to make the income you had envisaged from that property. When you are talking of agricultural land, the output is very, very dicey. So in most cases, they are not often considered as cash flow properties, because while yes, it can generate income, it's not on the same level as if you had certainty that your tenants were going to pay, or if it was a land used as, say, a car park, for instance, or a parking lot where you're sure you would get customers. Now, let's talk about capital growth properties. Capital growth properties are those ones that increase in value over time. You're not talking about money today, but money tomorrow. And so for properties like this, investors that choose this are looking at creating generational wealth over a long period of time. They understand that generally real estate is a long-term game, and they are willing to take the patience to go through the process. So these are people that purchase properties with the expectation that in the future, this property will definitely be worth more and I can get value for my investment. Now, examples are land banking in developing corridors like Epe in Lagos, Monia in Ibadan, even Ikorodu is seen as somewhere with high potential now in Lagos. And then investing in off-plan development. It's a new strategy by investors where you buy properties while they are still constructed. That's what we mean by off-plan. The building is not yet there. You know, it requires a number of months for them to deliver. After it's delivered, you just sell off. Because the period between when they start construction and when they end, a lot of things would have happened in the process that makes your property appreciate in value. Maybe infrastructure comes into the place, or generally, given the way prices of things become, it just goes high in value and then you resell and you make profit from it. So land banking and then investing in off-plan developments are examples of capital growth properties. Now, what are some of the advantages? It builds significant long-term wealth, because we understand that sometimes it's not a 3-year thing, it's not even a 5-year something. When we are sharing the story today of Ikoyi, of the Highland and several other places, Banana Island and the rest of them, these are not properties that started 3-5 years ago. Some of them as long as 10-20 years. The people that own those properties understand the long-term game and are willing to play it. Then it creates equity for future purchases. You buy a property today, it appreciates, you resell it, get the money from it. You can use it to either buy a cash flow property, or even restart the game all over and buy another property, wait for it to appreciate. And it requires less active management. There is no need to be checking for tenants, repairs, and all of that when you're speaking on capital growth properties. But capital growth properties do not provide immediate income. It's not something you put your money today and then you're expecting in the next 1 year, 2 years, you start getting it back. And we really need to help potential investors understand this, that when you're buying real estate with the intention of it appreciating, it's not a 1 year thing, it's not a 2 year thing. We're not talking USDT, we're not talking dollar, we're talking real estate, because a lot of factors have to be put in place for these properties to appreciate in value. We're talking infrastructure, amenities, good roads, and the likes. Now, it requires patience while waiting, like I just mentioned, for infrastructure development or market demand to increase property value. So while we're waiting for the property to appreciate, it requires patience. If you're someone that you're in a hurry, you're looking at how I can make money now, not at a later time, then cash flow properties are your best option. Now, in choosing the right strategy, you have to combine both or balance both. If you are looking at getting money today, I want to make my money today, I want to start getting returns from my investment, why not go for cash flow properties? Buy apartments, buy short-let. You can buy apartment, turn into short-let apartment, turn into rental apartment, what have you, just to make money from it. But if you're looking at the long term, then capital growth properties are your best bet. Better still, you can combine both strategies, where if you have the funds, you can get both cash flow properties, you buy apartments, you can buy land in developing areas, or you can go for options that allow you to combine both. And like I mentioned here, we have a plan for that, where you can buy a property, it's appreciating in value, you're getting income from it. You also have opportunity to own land somewhere that is appreciating in value. So in choosing the right strategy depends on what you yourself want to achieve from your investment. There's no one size fits all. What works for one investor might not necessarily work for you. Just look at where your capital is at, where you are right at in this moment. Look at where your finances are at, and then choose what works best for you. So in conclusion, understanding the difference between cash flow and capital growth allows investors to structure smarter property portfolios. The key is aligning investment choices with your personal financial goals, your available capital, and your investment timeline. If you're someone that, for example, is looking to relocate, and then you're saying, okay, let me buy land, let it appreciate, and then when my visa pulls through and all of that, I'll resell, a capital growth property is most likely not going to be the best option. If what you're looking at is something like, okay, this is something that can help my kids at a later time, and looking at the age of your kids, maybe 3-4 years old, and they're looking at in the next 20 years, 10 years they can resell, then yes, that a capital growth property will work for you. But if you're looking at something that can make money, easy to spend, easy cash out, and then cash flow property is what works for you. Now, if you're looking for more information on how you can acquire either cash flow, capital growth properties, or you just generally have questions from today's training, you can reach out to any of the via any of the platforms showing on the screen, or you can comment down, and then we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you for joining today's training.